Page 95, Song of the Mockingbird. This is a reading exercise. I haven't been covering the reading exercises in this book. I was going to, and I thought I'll just cover the pieces. If you have questions, you can always ask. But since this has a title, I'll go ahead and cover it. 4/4 time. It's got one sharp, happens to be in the key of G major. It's G major or E minor, but it's G major. Take my word for it. And we're dealing with syncopations. I don't know if I've talked about syncopations before. I can't remember squat. But syncopation to me is simply you either play a note when you don't expect it, or you don't play a note when you do expect one, or somehow it's off. It throws you off just a little bit. Look at the left hand here at the beginning of this. We have G and a D. Okay, that's fine. Notes are prime. But the rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3. And the short note comes first, because you'd expect this. Or this. Something like that. But when it's that's syncopation. It's just the rhythm's off a little. And syncopation has been around since probably the beginning of music, long time ago. Well, so let's cover this right hand first. Starting up here, dotted half note gets 3 counts. Remember, it's the same as 3 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3. Then you have an A sharp, C sharp. Try and play these legato. This is good exercise. You should do it in both hands. It doesn't matter what it sounds like. It's good exercise. And then the second measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2. You got that syncopation in here too. That's pretty much the right hand for the most part. Put them together. What do we get? 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Make sure you lift up in the right hand there. It's a rest. So it's 1, 2, 3, rest. Now, I want to try something new there. I don't know how challenging. I hope this is not too challenging for you. If it is, you may want to go back to book 1 and go through it again. But there's a fingering style. There's a lot of different fingering styles, but something I'd like to show you. And that is when you have repeated notes. See in the left hand, you have all these Ds. And the last measure, the first line, the 3 Ds. Well, instead of using the same finger on all of them, we use different fingers. It's a little trickier to learn, a little harder at first, but once you get the idea, it is so much safer and a surer way of fingering when the music gets really difficult or really fast. So I'm going to suggest or encourage you here is to do these thumbs, to do a 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1 on all of them like this. So it's 1 here. And on the last measure, the first line, again, 1, 2, 1. I don't use different fingers on repeated notes all the time, but I do most of the time, and it just gives us a chance to kind of introduce this to you if I haven't already. So try that. Anyway, there's no articulation given. You can play it all legato. There's this phrasing there, but the phrasing is built in because you have a rest in the right hand at the end of the first line. That's the end of the phrase. So you're gonna lift up anyway. There's no phrasing in the left hand. You can play it all legato if you want. Actually, because they don't give you any articulation, you can play it any way you want. You can play some of those staccato. I could do staccatos. Well, the 8th note's so short anyway. Doesn't really matter much. But it's like at the end of the line. Don't know how much sense that makes. The point is, when they don't give you any articulation, you do it any way you want. It's up to you and your interpretation. Generally, to start with, you just play it all legato. And then you can experiment with other articulations. And if you get to know the music well enough, you feel these things, you might feel some other articulation come along. I don't. Here, to me, this is a very flowing, smooth piece, so I would play it all legato, especially the melody. Speed-wise, well, it says relax, but I don't know. I mean, that's relaxed to me. Depends on the time of day it is and how much wine I've had. Yeah, I don't know. It's up to you on what you feel relaxed is. Dynamic-wise, they just give you moderately loud at the beginning, and that's the melody. That's the right hand. You have to decide what that is, but again, you don't have to play it all at one level. I mean, you can come up and down a little bit as you feel it. Get to know it well enough to feel it, and then you can, but keep this left hand soft. Thing. I'm going to go ahead and do a play with me on this so you can double check your notes and rhythms. So I'll give us 4 counts. Let's try it together. 1, 2, ready and go, and 1 and 2.